has really, I want to thank the country because we've done it all and tried as much as possible to contain the infection. However, it has affected and disrupted education, the normal education system. And indeed it is true because the normal education system has been affected. Our learning institutions have been affected. This has exposed our children to very many bad behaviors. It has exposed the children to very many violence outside school environment. That shows that there is a lot we need to do. COVID has exposed the gaps in the parental way, the manner in which we nurture our children. This is a moment for the parents especially. This is a moment for our parents to search their souls. We need to examine our conscience and to ask the fundamental question, what has gone wrong? Why are we having such vices at this particular point in time? That reveals the gaps in parental roles. It shows in some of our parental roles, the morals have decayed. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm so happy that today the cultural leaders, the religious leaders, everybody here has spoken the same language, most especially affecting the family, our own family. The culture in the families have gone. The informal education on sexuality in our family is no more. The dressing codes is no more. It's inappropriate. Homes have become places for torture. Homes have become places for gender-based violence. Parents are at work all the time. They have got very minimum time for the children. Men, some of them are running away from their cardinal responsibility at home. Sometimes we accept bribes to compromise the future of these young girls. Parental divorce, separations, conflicts at the family has grossly affected the future generation. Sometimes sharing of the same rooms has got big implications. Ladies and gentlemen, I am happy today we are speaking on the same language, starting from the parents, which is the nucleus of the society. Without a good parental responsibility, without that key nurturing from the parent, we cannot raise up responsible citizens for tomorrow. We need the family norms, the standards, the rules that originate from the families. We need families to be approachable, parents to show love, but firm love. Communication between parents and our young people has decayed. This is a moment to increase communication channel, integrity values, cultural norms, religious norms. We need to help the younger people to believe in themselves. Sometimes we need to understand the younger people. The dressing codes, the behavior. One of the religious leaders talk about the substance abuse. right from the family, like the father, like the daughter, like the father, like the mother, like the daughter, like the mother. Today, I'm so happy we are here. We are here to discuss, to come up with way forward. And allow me in a special way to thank the government of Uganda, because as government, we have the political will, and I commit the support from government. Our role is to ensure we formulate youth-friendly policies and standards and guidelines. Our role is to ensure we provide resources for the programs, that is for the younger people. I speak about the adolescent sexual reproductive health and right policy. We talk about the school health policy and many other policies that are friendly and relevant to the younger people, participatory. As government, a lot of resources have been put in order to improve our younger people. I cannot go into those details. But also, at a health perspective, a lot have been done. Government has created youth-friendly hospital initiatives. When you go to the hospitals, there is an initiative to have the youth corners where the services can be given for the youth, services that are age appropriate, services that are appropriate to those youth, where they can share experiences, where they can share best practices. Ladies and gentlemen, we are much aware, my Lord Bishop, of the rising teenage pregnancy prevalence. We are also aware to some school of thoughts who think government should come up with the policies that should allow contraceptives for the young people. Ladies and gentlemen, we need to be very realistic. Contraceptive is not a solution for these younger people. Today, the young person has got the contraceptive. What about the other infections like HIV and AIDS? What about the sexually transmitted infections? What about the hepatitis B? What about the moral decay? So I want to call upon all stakeholders. Let's face the truth and not bury our heads on the sand by not analyzing the root cause of the problems. I want to reaffirm our commitment to make adolescent-friendly policies concerning sexual reproductive health and right with respect to root causes. And most important is appropriate services for age. Ladies and gentlemen, I also want to bring the aspect of role models. We also need role models in the community. We need adolescents among themselves who are role models, who can stand and speak for the others, who can testify, who can give their life testimony, how the breakthrough worked for them. Long ago, a child is born for the community. A child is born for the entire community. That means there is a community engagement dialogue, and community own that child. But today, a child is owned by a family. When a girl messes up, if your neighbor corrects that girl, it brings violence in the community. As a result, we are no longer our sisters, our brothers' keepers. That's why I say it's a moment for soul searching. We need to go back to the basic with the support of our cultural leaders and our religious leaders. We need to uphold the cultural integrity and the values that had worked for us. Ladies and gentlemen, aware that schools have closed does not mean closure of learning. Aware that school environment has closed does not mean that home has closed. I want to appeal to our parents. Let's make the home a safe environment that the child can learn, a protective environment. Let's have our child at heart. Today, we are no longer the gatekeeper for our children. The social media has taken over the role of the parents. The children learn everything from internet. It has opened the door for them to learn the bad manners from the social media, globalization. We still have a role to play. We can still close that door. We can still control that door if we want responsible citizens who can bury us tomorrow in a decent manner. Ladies and gentlemen, I know another important aspect is to empower the girl child. Oftentimes we talked about that. We need to empower the girl child. We cannot conclude the discussion on the empowerment, but empowering them through education. Research and science has demonstrated the longer the girl child stays in school, the longer she takes in getting married, or she becomes pregnant. So it's a high time, let's invest in our children. Invest our children for the future, for the parents, not to invest the future for our children, but invest the children for the future. That is our pride. Ladies and gentlemen, I know a lot has been talked, and I must appreciate this interfaith dialogue. As ministry, once again, I want to commit our total support to work with the relevant health authority, the DHO, to ensure that we have especially address and effect programs that affects our younger people. And of course, as Ministry of Education, I also want to inform this gathering that one of our roles is to integrate health education for the young people in all the schools. We want to continue with the policies and guidelines to support the younger people. And before I conclude, allow me to say that as a result of the pandemic, we have seen the development and advancement of a variety of distant learning, a lot of e-learning taking place, a lot of digital education. Of course, as a ministry, a lot of initiatives have been put in place, including the television, including the radio, but not everybody, not every child makes it. But the ministry has been in process of producing learning materials for self-learning that soon will be sent to our children. And I want to give hope to our people that yes, the COVID is with us, and it is here to stay. And of course, the schools will not remain forever closed. Sooner or later, the schools will be open. The churches will not be perpetually closed. Sooner or later, open. But the fundamental guiding principle for the reopening one is the epidemiological status. We need to look at the status of the COVID. The lower the positivity rate and sustain, the better for the vaccination process. This is a gold mine. For us to have a critical mass to be vaccinated, especially the elderly, Once we achieve that critical level, then we can confidently say we are moving in the right direction. The third is surveillance. We need to keep surveillance. Of course, we are hearing already infection is coming up in other parts of the country. That is what we should be doing regularly, to survey. The second principle is the safe reopening of the school, looking at the risk profile analysis and what measures can we put in place to mitigate those risks. And my ministry, under the leadership of the First Lady, has put in place a comprehensive mitigation measures, strategies. If we open the school, what is it that we can do to keep our children safe? What is it that we can do with the curriculum? What is it that we can do with surveillance? What is it that we can do with assessment, progression? It is a comprehensive. And I want to give hope that discussions are on way to ensure how best we can, in a phase, what is it that we can do with the curriculum? What is it that we can do with surveillance? What is it that we can do with assessment, progression? It is a comprehensive. And I want to give hope that discussions are on way to ensure how best we can, in a phased manner, staggered manner, to reopen the school. But the most important is the vaccination exercise. So I want to call upon everybody, most especially the elderly, the teachers. Let's try as much as possible to embrace the vaccination, because it is only through that we can build herd immunity, population immunity, immunity that can protect us directly or indirectly from the virus. As I conclude, ladies and gentlemen, I want to remind parents that the government is doing its best to protect the young people and to ensure the realization of the young people to their full potential. That's our dream. However, we are also asking everybody, let's do our part. In education, we say education is a shared responsibility. In the same way, nurturing the young child is a shared responsibility. We do our part when they are at school. You as a parent, one of our cultural leaders told us, most of the time they are with you. The religious leaders have told us, every time the children are with you, do your part and be responsible. Provide leadership. Provide parental guidance. Create time and speak to the children. I want in a special way to thank the religious leaders. I want to thank you. It takes lots of devotion, commitment, dedication to devote your time and to commit yourself to engage on this very important topic. Allow me really to appreciate this effort, and to the cultural leaders, the cultural, religious leaders, all the opinion leaders who are here. We really want to thank you, and I want to pledge our commitment as government of Uganda and the Ministry of Education and Sports. I pledge that we work together and we will work closely with you to provide mentorship, guidance, counseling, and life skill development for our younger people. For you, the younger people, we love you and we care about your future for God and my country, and I thank you all.
Enough clap, really. Let's thank our Honorable Minister for this which I call the political will.
It is now my pleasure to officially, by the powers entrusted upon me, to officially open this dialogue for God and my country once again.
Amen. Amen. Thank you so much, Honorable, for the political will. For us, what we want is the political will. Once the minister says, I'm with you, what else? The policies will be there, the resources will be there, and all other necessary support. So for that reason, Honorable Minister, we want to thank you, first of all, for taking this as a priority. You know, it is one thing to be supportive of something, and you just keep saying, yes, I am with you. But it is another for you to move and be at the place of action. And for this reason, we want to thank you so much, because it takes passion, it takes interest into something you are doing for you to move all the way from your ministry headquarters to come here in Arua, just to talk and emphasize that you are with us politically and otherwise for the sake and for the benefit. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, allow me to make one small statement and we'll close this session. We've had regional interfaith dialogues, but they all culminated from the high-level interfaith dialogue that we had with our top religious leaders in Kampala. And this was on June 8th, 2021, at Hotel Africana, if you want to quote exactly what happened. In this meeting, in this interfaith meeting, on the same issue, the high-level religious leaders made this statement that is guiding us all through these regional interfaith dialogues. And I will read verbatim. We, the leadership of the different faith and cultural institutions gathered in today's dialogue, acknowledge that poverty, HIV and AIDS, gender-based violence, female genital mutilation and cutting, and low participation in secondary education affects the health and well-being of adolescents and young people in Uganda. We are aware that the traditional practices of child marriage, unwanted pregnancies, and early motherhood present a major obstacle to achieving progress in the health of adolescents and young people. We note that the implementation of child protection laws, policies, guidelines, and frameworks are weak. As a result, children are exposed to right abuse, violence, and discrimination. We acknowledge that there is consistent lack of adolescent and youth-friendly services across the country. Pursuant to this realization, we, the faith and religious leaders and cultural leaders, commit to 1, use of our faith channels, platforms, schools, places of worship, and other structures to reach out to adolescents and young people with health preventive and promotive messages. 2, make our health facilities, education institutions, structures, adolescent and youth friendly. Develop policies, strategies, and frameworks to guide our faith, enrich, and outreach programs to adolescents and young people. 4. Meaningful involvement of religious leaders and cultural institutions and other leaders in the design and implementation, monitoring, and adolescent health programs and policies at all levels must be emphasized. Establish a cultural and religious institutions coordination mechanism on adolescent health. 6. Strengthen health education at our health facilities and extend capacity building, coaching, and mentorship of health workers on adolescent and maternal health. 7. Ensure targeted programs and reach out to adolescent and young people at risk with health information and services. 8. Source, generate, and provide data on the status of adolescent health to enable government, donors, and development partners make decisions and take actions to promote development programs with specific resources located to health practices, rituals, ceremonies, and events. 11. Engage donors and other development partners to avail resources to initiate and promote adolescent health programs with specific resources allocated to faith-based organizations and cultural institutions. 12. Meaningful participation and involvement of young people in health programs and policies. And 13. Engage media platforms on social issues, on issues of young people for better health programming, policy implementation, and reaching out to the young people. 14. Appropriate adolescent health message, packaging, and language. Second last, which is 15, promote positive parenting behavior among parents. And the last one, number 16 statement, is engage with the government to ensuring that adolescents' health is prioritized in the government development, budgets, and plans. 2. Child protection laws and policies are developed and enforced, and that there is adequate provision of quality adolescents and youth-friendly services. And lastly, that under this statement 16, that there will be an effort to expedite implementation of the parenting guidelines and ensure completion and approval of the family health policy. And this was signed by the Uganda Muslim Supreme Council, Church of Uganda, Seventh-day Adventist Union, Catholic Church of the Church of Uganda Catholic Secretariat, and Born Again Faith Federation, cultural leaders, and Faith for Health Initiative, and other, including the Sexual Reproductive Health and Rights Alliance, Uganda, as the lead NGO on this initiative. That was a statement, and that is what we are following even as we roll out this program at the regional level for the benefit of generating issues that will inform better what we all are aiming at. Thank you so much once again, and I want to appreciate your time for being with us, and we have a lot more to come. We have panels that are coming. We have panelists. We shall have deep discussions over this issue to enrich our effort and focus. And I'm sure from this region, probably we shall get unique issues that will go with to add to what we already have from the central region, the eastern region, the western region, and now here in the West Nile region. Thank you very much, and God bless you. Also, just an announcement in the afternoon. We have a consultant with us from UNESCO who is part of this initiative. It is a timely venture because what thank the Honorable Minister. You mentioned that whatever adolescent health services that we must have, including the policies, that they must be age appropriate and must be in the context of our culture, our values across board. That is a very important statement, and I think you have spoken to us as religious leaders. And that there has to be control over what our young people, control measures over what our young people go through, including the social media and other global challenges. To me, once the young people have been empowered enough, if you have empowered this young person, equipped this young person, and skilled this young person, I will not be frightened to send this young person into these global challenges, because I know they will beat the challenges that don't speak the language that they have been empowered with. So what is missing is equipping the young person and skilling the young person so that this young person can meet courageously these challenges that come with the global changes. And in our faith, as Church of Uganda, when we are baptizing a child, we say that they are now going out to fight valiantly against three things. That is the flesh, the devil, and the world. And these are the things that are defeating us. We can't afford to do that. We have to equip our young people. We have to do all it takes. As a team, collectively, we know we are winners. We cannot accept to say, to live in the regret kind of world. We have to be hopeful that our young people are here to stay, to build this country, and with our support. God bless you. So we have a consultant with us, Medad, who is working on a tool to help us to deal with young people. We have to appreciate that we are struggling on what to do, especially when it comes to reproductive health issues and rights and what. We have a tool that is in making that we are going to develop so that this tool becomes a guide in all that we are going to do. And this is going to be supported, of course, and through the government. We can't do anything without the government. But as of now, it is being supported and being promoted through UNESCO. So he is a UNESCO consultant, and he will help us to understand what is contained in the tool and probably what we can add or deduct depending on the language it speaks to us as people who have determined to reach out to the young people and nurture them in the best way we can. Thank you. So we can have a break. Let's stand up. We have really sat for a long time. And you know, this is COVID era. People are talking of clothes. They are talking of what? One of the things that we suffer is lack of exercise. If we are not elders, I would have caused you to jump and what, but for now, no. So let's stand, stretch a little bit so that we can avoid that challenge.
Welcome back from that interfaith campaign on integration of health information and services on COVID-19 response. I hope you picked one or two. Right now, we start off with our lunch time news, and my name is Patricia Lukoma Mpango. Straight away over to Rukunjiri. Inadequate healthcare facilities in Rukunjiri district is worrying, with a few health centers congested with health-seeking residents. According to the chairperson, Buyanja My Roots, Singuza Alan Motemba, there is no better way to improving healthcare in the region than the locals teaming up and contributing to the healthcare in the region.
Center 3 and Kasheshe Center 3 serve approximately 50,000 people, with approximately 30,000 people below the age of 18 years. And we identified the things that we could do